Well, there is an affordable housing crisis in the state of Florida. More than 780,000 households here in this state pay more than half of their income in rent.
In fact, Florida is ranked third in the nation for renters who pay half their earnings for a roof over their head. We're joined now by Ali Solis, president and CEO of Make Room USA. It's an advocacy organization for families in need of affordable housing. Okay, so Ali, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to South Florida also. We know that the wages are low and rent is high in Miami. So can you talk a little bit more about the disparity here and also across the state of Florida?
Yes, so across the country, we have 25 million Americans that are struggling. And as you mentioned, Florida is one of the hardest hit communities, struggling to make rent, struggling with housing affordability all across the country. So Make Room is working to raise awareness about this issue and to identify solutions to end housing insecurity for all of these families.
And who are the people that are most affected by this?
You know, it is the fabric of our society. It is the service workers, the teachers. We just came from an event this evening where we met the Ibarro family, a teacher in a middle school here in South Florida and a communications associate that worked for the Symphony, who are choosing to move to Nashville because they cannot find an affordable apartment to rent. These are people that have lived here for over 20 years. And so we're seeing this impact, you know, the service working community, teachers, firefighters, local community folks, people working in our hospital systems.
The people who give so much to our communities.
That's right.
What about solutions? You're based in Washington, D.C. Obviously, there is a federal agency, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Is there any help on the way? Any programs that people who find themselves in this situation might be able to reach out to?
Well, one of the things we're really grateful for during the tax reform process is that the low-income housing tax credit program was able to be preserved. But there is bipartisan legislation actually proposed in the House and the Senate to expand that program by 50%. We have a shortage of 7.5 million apartments in this country, and so that would be a big push forward in the right direction. There's also critical state and local programs that we need to make sure that we preserve. And the city of Miami recently passed a bond measure, so we're looking forward to hearing from the mayor tomorrow. We're hosting an event with journalists from around the region to talk about these issues and to hear about how we can take those resources, really leverage them, and expand public-private partnerships here in the South Miami area.
So are there any cities who are doing innovative work who maybe we should look to as an example for solutions?
Yeah, so last year Make Room worked with the city of Denver and its mayor to create a dedicated source of affordable housing, a local trust fund. There's actually one that exists at the state of Florida, and so one of the ideas is to see if there's a possibility to doing something similar. That fund really leverages transit-oriented development with housing, affordable housing units along the transit line, something that's desperately needed here in South Florida. So we're thinking about ways to expand that program and possibly do that here in South Florida.
You know, there is such a large population here in South Florida that is part of the service industry and the tourism industry and helping to take care of the people that come to visit South Florida from all over the country. These are the people you said are most affected. What kind of advice would you have for them?
Well, we have created a digital platform, a simple way to use technology. Low-income workers, people that are working every day that don't have time to take off from work to go meet with their members of Congress, their city council members. We're now using the power of technology from your smartphone to be able to connect them directly with their policymakers to share their stories. We're also partnering with organizations to help restore credit, to connect them with potentially short-term emergency assistance to help them weather some of those short-term storms. So we're happy to be here starting our partnership in Miami and looking forward to providing new opportunities to work and support the families of this community.
Well, we're glad that you were here to talk to us about it. Ali Solis is the executive director of Make Room USA. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck tomorrow with your program.